Do you struggle with overthinking? Do you have an anxious, critical ego that won't seem to shut up? Do you have trouble accessing your intuition and even having trouble to not engage, getting stuck in these same patterns of conversationally where you feeling frustrated? Well, I'm going to share with you a simple tool that will instantly quiet that critical ego intellect so that you can actually listen to what's underneath being said. Accessing your intuition, building a relationship with your spirit, and giving yourself more space, compassion, and ease. I know I'm not alone when I say my head, my intellect, my ego intellect talks a lot. And often the words and language that it uses is really harsh, critical, and sometimes it just jabbers away, making it seemingly impossible to access my intuition or even not get caught up in these same loops that happen over and over again. Feeling frustrated, overwhelmed, exhausted, feeling like you've tried harder. I see this often in my clients, in my day-to-day practice. So that's why I'm going to share with you a simple tool that will help to instantly change your relationship with your ego intellect. Instead of it being the problem that you have to solve, but a way that we can actually listen with not our human ears, but with our spirit, with this place of our vibration to give ourselves more space and capacity. And when we start to use this practice, the really wonderful thing is our whole matrix changes. We don't get caught up in what I call the top notes, those first surface things. Oh, you're always late. You never can do this. You blah, 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 whatever it is, whatever that tape that loops in your brain is. So before I go any further, hi, I'm Sonia. I'm a 4th generation intuitive, and I teach you how to plug back into your innate divine self, your intuition. If you're new here, don't forget to hit subscribe. I release new videos every week. If you're returning, hi, yay. We're switching it up from the regular old programming. Also, definitely check out the description box below. I'm going to be offering a workshop coming up in May for only $5. That will be a live workshop with tools and exercises, and we can really put a lot what happens with information into practice so you can have a better direct experience with your intuition. It's going to be super fun. I can't wait to see you there. Definitely check it out. So let's get back to the task at hand. Today, I was talking to one of my clients, and she's so brilliant, smart. She knows a lot of information, has a background in actual mental health and social work. So she's like read a million different books. And one thing she was talking about was like my ego intellect. Like I intellectually know that it's just blah, 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 but I can't seem to get it to shut up. And more than that, I feel like I should be farther along than I am. I know better. So Sonia, like, what do I do? And this is where this video came from, because we are first, our ego intellect, if you're new here, our ego intellect is a protective shield that forms around us around the age of 7. And the ego's job, it's not bad, is to self-separate out. If you did not have an ego, you would not be able to differentiate yourself from a speeding bus that's coming down the street. We love an ego. We need a bit of separateness. But the problem arises when the ego is the one that's in charge and driving the bus of our life instead of our spirit. Your spirit is your innate divine self that is breathed into you like the moment that you take your first breath. It will keep you safe. It tells you the truth. It's rooted in deep self-love. Compassion offers you solutions, opens doors that you thought were closed, and really is the seed of your gifts. It's innate. You know, learning to listen to your intuition is really just a coming home. It's not something outside of yourself. And usually what's blocking the way from your intuition is an overactive ego intellect. And the ego intellect gets really loud and critical because it gets disconnected from our spirit. Also, it's kind of its function. Now it says what's not working. It's inherently negative. And often that negativity comes from a place of protection. There's something called the negativity bias that we have in the world. It was first used as a survival skill when we really had very big things like saber-toothed tigers and, you know, whether or not we'd have enough water or food or shelter. And now, because often our lives are a lot more comfortable where we have these basic needs met, that skill of survival gets turned on ourselves. And we, especially in our world, can end up putting ourselves under a microscope. So when we're talking about the ego intellect, just notice first, what is that critical part? In my family, we call that your barking dog. You want to train your pet, you don't shoot your pet. And one of the ways that we start to train our pet is, one, your ego intellect will chatter all the time. Now, the first issue that I see that arises a lot is we engage in conversation with the ego intellect, almost like trying to reason with a terrorist that lives in our brain. We're like, if I can just explain or come up. And the more that we try and engage, the more that we get into our headspace. Often that gets us into overthinking, indecisiveness. That gets us into feeling stuck. Often low patterns of self-esteem also come from that because we keep trying to change and engage with the same way of thinking that got us into this place in the first place. So first, just notice the chatter. And the way that I like to think about it is like even a little leaf going down a river. Oh, that's my ego intellect chattering. All right. Second, we have to recognize that it only has a certain amount. The ego intellect only has a certain amount of access to information. It pulls from the past to project to the future, and it has limited knowledge. What it knows is all it knows. And in that way that we can be aware of that it's sort of like if you're trying to find any possibilities, you're not going to go backwards, you're going to go forward. So one, ego intellect. Second, that chattering. Now, here is how we can use this tool. So first, the very first thing that we're going to do is take a deep breath in through your nose. Imagine like you're breathing up through your feet, and exhale like you're exhaling 10 birthday candles. And then I want you to put one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly, and repeat that breath again. In through your nose, imagine like you're breathing up through your feet, and then exhale like you're exhaling 10 birthday candles. And this time, I want you to gently close your eyes. Now, with your hand on your heart, your hand on your belly, just start to bring your attention inward and bring it down even to your heart center. Something will instantly start to happen. That chatter will start to quiet, and you'll start to connect with your spirit because your spirit resides in your body. Your intuition is the voice of your spirit. So in this place of listening, we anchor into the vibration of our spirit. We first bring forward a curiosity, an openness, a availability, thinking that this chatter is trying to tell us something. And instead of being afraid or overwhelmed or, even resentful, when we can shift from our human self to our spirit, we can be curious. It's like, I wonder what you're saying. And from that place of patience and compassion of your spirit, with that anchor, this is where we'll start to talk to our ego intellect. What do you really say? So start with a body scan. Where does this energy reside? Where is this, this chatter residing? And really just start to feel it. You can feel it. Sometimes it's in our throat, our jaw, maybe our hips. Just notice where there might be some tightness in your body. Now, when we can even invite this part of us, and I always like to, in my world, I always like to say your ego intellect is your pet. So have a dog, a cat, whatever. The more descriptive things that you can use to even externalize it helps. So invite your pet to come have a chat with you. And with that same curiosity and compassion, ask, what do you need me to know? What are you trying to tell me that I'm not hearing? And again, just take a breath. Because sometimes that can elicit fear, like, oh my goodness, especially if we can get into overwhelm. Oh. So as we are in this compassionate listening space of availability, not from our heads, but even from the portal of your body, and you can be patient. Sometimes it doesn't want to talk right away. see what starts to come up. And I would also encourage you, if you have a safe space to do this, to actually give it voice, speak it out loud, right? Because we're in this portal of our imagination, connected to our spirit, having a chat with our ego intellect, listening, all right? And as it starts to speak, be curious, right? So maybe if it's feeling, maybe you deal with a lot of anxiety about what you should be doing, right? I'm wanting to get a new job, but I'm indecisive, blah, 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 right? This whole thing, this whole ego intellect, like I'm exhausted. All right, so what is my ego intellect really trying to say? What are you protecting me from is a really good question to ask. And you'll be surprised. Often it's like I'm just with a client of mine, it's like I'm afraid of failure. I am afraid of being stuck. I am afraid of being disempowered. And you can even use that structure from your ego intellect. I'm afraid of fill in the blank. And just notice as you start to give it voice, how energetically the load starts to lighten. And instead of getting caught in the superfluous things of like the blah, 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 what you're doing is listening to the emotion of what's being said from those human parts that are trying to communicate with you with bad language, like bad language. You know, you think of little kids and when they get upset with their parents and they're like, I hate you. They don't really hate their parents, right? You don't really hate whoever you're having a fight with. I remember with my sister as a kid. I'm just having a lot of feelings and I didn't have the self-awareness, regulation skills to communicate that. And that's the same way with these human parts of ourselves. And so once you really start to give that voice and give it space to speak, until it's done talking for the moment, and then ask, what do you need from me? And often it might be an action. I need some consistency. I need play. I need whatever. And then here's the real key part. Whatever shows up of what it's telling your spirit of what it needs, of whether it's an action from you, it's your responsibility to do it and follow through. And then really with this space, just say, I'm going to keep being in this energy with you. I'm going to keep coming and chat with you. Because the more that we can have these conversations, the more that our ego intellect starts to trust our spirit, right? It's like, oh, I don't have to be afraid to turn things over to my intuition, to my higher self, because I know you. And the more that we're consistent and the more that we keep those promises to ourselves, so the more that the ego intellect that's trying to protect us from the outside world can relax. Because it knows it's not the only one on duty, that you have something way bigger that's innate and connected that's doing the heavy lifting. Our human parts can't hold it all, but our spirit and our higher self can. And this practice is also very great for strengthening your intuitive voice because it also empties the garbage of starting to give our heart a voice, which is often where our intuition and spirit resides. So this is a big video. I encourage you, practice. And notice if you have a resistance. It's like, oh, that's a lot. I don't know. And anytime you feel that, just lean back into curiosity. I'm listening. I'm available. And let's just see how that shifts. Notice that it's instantly calm you. It'll instantly make you feel more grounded. It'll instantly root you and just help to give you more ease, grace, and flow. So if you enjoyed this video, let me know. Leave me a comment. Did this tool work for you? As I said, come to my workshop. It's going to be so much fun. I'm going to teach you tons of tools to have a direct experience with your intuition and build community and all of the beautiful, beautiful things. You ask questions, all of it. So I'm sending you all my love. You can check it out on my website, soniatully.com. Come to see my offer. You got all this sorts of things. Get a reading with me. And I'd love to hear from you. So I hope you have a beautiful day and I'll see you next week. Bye.